louder? Because we are having a hard time here.
Okay, welcome to our last debate of the day. Remember, debaters, it's perfectly okay to spit on the front row if you need to project to the back, okay? So you're not talking to me. Be sure to point your voices and bodies outward, okay? So our last debate is capital speakers versus Albater anchors. This is the speaking area that they can cover, and I would encourage you, Mr. Don wants to hear you way back there to get out here and talk to the audience, okay? The rules have been set. The terms have been defined by each team prior to today. They'll be using those. And the last important rule, any formal protest needs to go to our chief judge, Mr. Don Pradas. So let me introduce to you our speakers. On our affirmative team, by the way, resolved that commercialism in sports kills sportsmanship. Again, commercialism in sports kills sportsmanship. Affirmative team led by Captain Elena Razichova. Pretty good. Followed up with Nasima Khan and Leslie Sullivan. I'm trying really hard. And the captain of our negative team, Prince George. Are we ready?
Yes.
I'll point out we're only 5 minutes behind schedule. I think we're pretty rocking. All right, let's kick this off. The affirmative team. Captain Elena, let's begin.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. Capital speakers fully supports the proposition commercialism in sports is killing sportsmanship. Commercialism, emphasis on the maximizing of profit, sportsmanship, sportsman-like conduct such as fairness, courtesy, being a cheerful loser, etc. Kill, put an end to, or cause the failure or defeat of. Examples of the detrimental impact of commercialism on sports are plentiful. First, inequality between clubs. Since 1992, when the English Premier League was formed, football has suffered from huge inequality between big and small city clubs. Commercialism has brought these lower division clubs to the brink of extinction because lucrative sponsorships and mass media deals were available only to big city clubs. In 1997, the Premier League clubs struck a 4-year TV deal worth £670 million. The sharing of ticket sales among all the clubs equally was quickly forgotten with the silent approval of the Football Association. Marginal redistribution that does happen is insufficient. Globally, more visible sports receive much more money from sponsors. 70% of Canadian companies sponsor elite-level amateur or professional sports. 2. The betrayal of grassroots supporters. After the Hillsborough disaster, football clubs received millions to upgrade the stadia, but the families of the victims received no or very little financial assistance to cover their legal expenses. The directors were not interested in the well-being of their grassroots supporters at all. Fans have also been disenfranchised due to the rising ticket prices. In the 1990s in Britain, it was 300%, even though at the same time, the clubs received millions of pounds from sponsors, and the inflation rate was less than 4%. 3. Exploitation of cheap labor in third world countries. Nike advertisements support the empowerment of females through sport, but Nike employed girls as young as 14 years old. The footballer's freedom and the integrity of the game have been addressed over the third-party ownership of professional players' rights. TPO became a financial instrument for raising cash by poorer clubs at the cost of the players' dignity. When we think about sport heroes or events, we want to remember the feat, not the sponsor. Commercialism is bad.
And we'll have a 2-minute cross-examination. Prince George.
You mentioned something about the English Premier League sponsorship issue. You said there is an issue with the sponsorship amounts for the English Premier League class. How do you correlate that with sponsorship? With sportsmanship?
This is in our definition of sportsmanship because this is the inequality between clubs. Premier League clubs, which were founded against the rules of the Football Association, received all the sponsorship, and sportsmanship, etc. in the definition for our team implies social responsibility towards your community and towards your fans and supporters. Because of that, because this inequality, the lower division clubs suffered so much.
Are you trying to say that the companies that were sponsoring previously and reduced their sponsorship later, are they being unsportsmanship? Are they exhibiting unsportsmanship or non-sportsmanship?
Absolutely. That's the point of our proposition.
Okay.
We believe that sportsmanship is a killer because only the top level clubs can benefit. And also, if the top level clubs do get their money, there is no guarantee it will go down to within the top layer to the lower, to the medium level clubs.
So is that the only reason why sportspersons play in the game and they withdraw from the sport only because there is no one to sponsor this event?
Sponsorship, I don't understand your question.
My question is that are you trying to say that someone playing a game, for example football, and exhibiting sportsmanship qualities, is that related to sponsors reducing the amount they invest in the game?
Absolutely, absolutely. That's the
You need to
reason.
say that someone playing football outside will stop playing
But that
football.
guy is not sponsored by Nike. That guy is sponsored by his mom and dad.
But
Thank you. Our first negative. Prince George, 3 minutes.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Firstly, I accept the definition that was given up by my opponents for this debate. On the whole, our team is going to be speaking about what exactly commercialism in sports is about and what exactly is sportsmanship in sports. We will also be talking about the correlation between these two. And we will also speak about how the growth in commercialism in turn grows sportsmanship. Basically, what is commercialism? Commercialism in sports is the application of commerce with the intention of maximizing profit. Now, maximizing profit is not necessarily like what my opponent mentioned, investing some money in the game or running away with money in the game. Maximizing profit could also mean economies of scale where you give in better quality and cheaper products and goods and services to your customers. It does not necessarily only mean a monetary benefit to someone playing a sport. Because of commercialization, there is so much growth in so many industries, like the infrastructure industry, like the advertising industry, like the sports industry, where there are sports goods and sports management companies that are doing exceptionally well. It's a $600 billion industry, which is doing really well. It is giving so many jobs, so many breadwinners, so many entrepreneurs, and turning dreams into reality every day. So commercialism is, as I just mentioned, exhibiting a positive outlook towards this game, towards games. Commercialism is exceptionally important for the sport to do well. Now, what is sportsmanship? As rightly defined, sportsmanship is giving respect, having some discipline, treating your opponents fairly and exhibiting courtesy, not only to your opponents, also your team members. This is a virtue that is developed in a sportsperson while he plays games, and this is what he carries and exhibits to the rest of the world in his everyday life. Just to summarize this, I would like to say that Sportsmanship is a personality trait of an individual which he develops over a period of time while he plays the sport. And a lack of sportsmanship does not depend on commercialization. Thank you.
Everyone in Toastmaster Prince. My very first question to you, do you agree that sports is not the only way to increase the growth of other industry like advertising, which you mentioned in the yes, he agreed. So it's not necessarily that sports should promote the other industries. And I have we have already agreed that the commercialism definition, which is the maximizing of profit. So there was no need for giving the another definition, which is we have already decided that this
That is
maximizing
our
of.
interpretation of the word profit, which can be you are free to define it in your own way.
No, it was a mutual acceptance that maximizing of profit means commercialism.
Okay, now that profit could be in terms of money, it could be in terms of providing better products to a customer, it could be in terms of reducing the price of the product. That is up to us how we take the
That does not boost the sportsmanship of the sports.
Yeah, what's the question?
I have only the two questions. Now I would like to present the moral dilemma why commercialism in sports kills sportsmanship. Very first, bribes. Commercialism leads to corruption. Commercialism in sports pushes the athletes away from peak performance, instead focusing on earning big money. We have seen one of the greatest Indian cricketer, Mohammad Azharuddin, who was banned for life for accepting bribes. This evil of commercialism has compromised the life of many sportsmen, such as NBA referee Team John Gay received bribe of $32,500. Stephanie Lee received bribe of $1,70,000. Hansi Cronje received bribe of $1,35,000. Second, drugs and violent behavior by top athletes. Many top athletes take performance-enhancing drugs under pressure from and often with the blessing of their sponsor. A glowing example is Lance Armstrong and his fall from glory. He lost all his 7 Tour France title due to drug abuse. Mike Tyson admits to being high on drugs during major fights and also beaten his worthy opponents. Maradona footballer struggled with 20 years of drug addiction during his playing career. Third, endorsement of unhealthy products. As a part of their sportsmanship funding, sportsmen have to endorse products that may be harmful or they do not personally believe in. For example, carbonated and sweetened drinks such as Coke, Pepsi, and unhealthy junk food are projected as good healthy drinks, and sportsmen fans tend to lead unhealthy lifestyle. Fourth, loss of passion and motive. Passion is the most important quality of being sportsman, with the motive to make team win, which is almost lost in today's sports world. Players are bought as a commodity which destroys the spirit of the game, and their driving force becomes only and only money. For example, Usain Bolt, the sprinter, refused to play in London, instead decided to compete in Paris because the tax rate was comparatively high in London. Last, my point is no privacy. Commercialization of sports denies the sports player of their privacy. Players are constantly under the limelight. Good and bad details are released to the public. For example, Tiger Woods, the golfer, scandal involving his many mistresses, his private life was broadcasted in public. Lately, Virat Kohli was in news only for his love affair with the film actress. With that, I would like to conclude that our team emphatically believes that commercialism in sports kills sportsmanship.
You spoke about rights and other manipulations in sports. Do you have any data or research on it? And what is the percentage of sportsmen involved in such activities?
I have already given the example of 3 players, and this information I got from CNN.me and sports, and the stats, it's not 1%, 2% or 60%. The point is sportsmen are corrupted, whether it's 1 or 2, it's affecting the sportsmanship.
Thank you very much. She's talking about 3% on the millions of sportsmen around. So that is not material.
They are the top players.
Now my second question is, you talked about Maradona is using drugs. Do you think all 3 footballers is using drugs? Yes or no?
Sorry?
Maradona has been addicted to drugs for many years. Do you think all 3 footballers are addicted to drugs?
As I said earlier,
Yes,
it's
yes,
not
yes,
1 or 2%
Yes,
person. And he is one of the world's famous player who is addicted. So just imagine if the world player who is world famous player is addicted to this drugs. How can the normal person come? The normal player.
It's a personal thing. It's nothing to do with commercialism.
It is because of commercialism. The value of money is affecting such a famous world champion.
You said that the sportsmen are having an unhealthy lifestyle. You said that, correct?
I said they are promoting unhealthy product which they don't drink or use it personally. It's just for money. They are giving bad example to the future sports player.
That's a fact. The last question.
It is unhealthy.
I'm sorry.
Good evening once again. On my session here, I would like to point out one thing. Commercialism will help to cultivate sportsmanship among people. Sports involvement provides good opportunities to learn particular social skills such as tolerance, respect of each other, teamwork, cooperation, fair play. That is what we define as sportsmanship. So what this means, involving more people to sports, that is better for the people that are involved in sports, because they will get used with the qualities, the virtues of a sportsman. That is already fair play, cooperation, and courage, perseverance, etc. So you have to look into the institution of world sport. You can see that in first level it is international, second level is regional, and third level is national, and last is local. So this is the institutional setup of sports around the world. And in international level, you can see that the sports federation like the FIFA and the IAAF and every sports have its own federation, and their link goes down till local level. And I will talk about one federation, that is FIFA. FIFA has formed in 1904. FIFA is the organization, the federation promoting football. And they formed in 1904. They had 7 members, including Spain. Spain is represented by Real Madrid, that's a football club. Now they have 209 members. And from thousands or 100,000s of sportsmen, it is grown up to millions of sportsmen. And they are involved in charity activities like SOS, charity campaign that has done in Canada when they conducted under 20 FIFA World Cup, and in 2006 in Germany they adopted 6 villages as a charity. So my point here is sports is promoted by FIFA, and the number of people involved in football is increased dramatically. And who are the FIFA partners? We have 6 partners for FIFA.
Leslie, 2 minute processing it.
Good evening, moderator, my worthy opponents, and fellow Toastmasters. Well, you spoke a lot on commercialism and you tried to give us a fancy picture of what commercialism is. Very good. I would like to know if there is too much of commercialism in any sports, will that incite violence? Can that bring violence to the game?
I never spoke about it.
I'm asking whether it can bring violence.
This is not related to my content of my speech.
Okay, so you believe that commercialism cannot
No,
bring
it's not
any
related to my
violence.
speech.
Thank you very much. You said about FIFA. Well, we are all proud of FIFA. It's very good. You know how much billions were spent to get that contract to host World Cup in Brazil? 12 billions. 12 billion dollars. 12 stadiums were built. 8 were used. So do you think these stadiums are of any use now after the FIFA World Cup is over?
Indeed, it can be used for local bodies.
According to our research, your information is wrong. The local clubs can accommodate only 1,500 people, while the World Cup was accommodating 40,000 people.
But basically, this
Third
course has
point.
been covered by the sponsorship. So there is.
I'm sorry,
there is
after
no
the
problem.
cost,
It is not a waste of money.
It is the cost incurred by the government, by the local bodies over there.
It's all.
And
It's all under
the
sponsorship.
and the fields are lined.
No, it's
in
not
a-
not just government spending.
You talked about the third question. You talked about the players doing charity. Yes. Can charity be done to cover their wrong deeds? Is it possible?
Charity can be covered through wrong deeds.
Why does the charity is done? Normally, the charity is done to show.
Look, FIFA has been, sponsored by these 6 sponsors, and
Leslie, you have 2 minutes.
Well, we have a discussion from our opposite side and what they have to say about commercialism in sports. And we are going to specifically speak about how commercialism is in sports is killing sports. Commercialism in sports have ruined the original intent of sports. What we see today is not sports, but it is only the competition to win and win. Modern sport is only about professionalism to rake in money for clubs, corporates, and sporting bodies. Point number 2, 24 hours television coverage by stations and medias. This is only to support the popular games. But what about the amateur sports? What about the traditional sports we play? We have everything, we have forgotten about them. Sports are hijacked by corporate companies. Due to heavy endorsement on players, players have no say in the games anymore. They agree to jeopardize games to win corporate backings. What is the spirit of sportsmanship? We have many examples of them on them. Wrestling, we all watch wrestling. All the wrestling matches are rigged. We know about the Tour de France event, how Lance Armstrong lost the title 7 times because of taking drug-enhancing products. Billions of dollars are spent for lobbying and winning the right for hosting FIFA World Cups. But these respective countries do not provide basic health facilities and infrastructure to the budding sportsmen. Commercialism has brought club over country culture. The club over country culture. Games are advertisement driven and media orchestrated euphoria. Players miss important national games. Sometimes it is hard to drop non-performing players because of the brand value system. Commercialism takes away the spirit of the game. Players use sledging, fake injury. In tennis, they take medical breaks because they do not want to lose the games at any cost, because there is monetary gains involved in the game. Fan goes to stadium for what? To enjoy games. But what do we get to see there? We get to see glittering lights. We get to see the painted fields, billboards, causing major distraction to the viewers of the game. And now, unprecedented introducing the IPL games in India, you will also find the cheerleaders dancing around next to the stadiums. Commercialism has affected the very essence of competition in sports. Sports are taken over by mind games and it is no more a sports. To summarize, I would say the spirit of playing fair game, integrity and respect for opponent is lost in commercialism.
Thomas, you have 2 minutes.
I hope you can hear me. My worthy opponents.
Speak up. Walk way up.
Is there a microphone that they can use? I'm also hold the main song.
The judges are out there.
Okay. I heard that sports is to name. It's like we work to get some money also. Is it a different name for that? It's obviously when we play something, we need to pay. We work for money. Do we play sports for losing or for winning?
Sports is a competition. But when you do something by enhancing drugs to win, that is wrong. And this is what commercialism has done in the sports. People take money from the opposite side because they want to win the games at any cost, and at the same time they also want to lose the game at any cost. So you never know what is happening in sports. Most of the people, especially who comes from India, have stopped watching sports because of match fixing.
Just a simple question. Sports is for obviously whether it's drugs or not drugs or whatever it is. The objective is for winning. Nobody is going there for losing anyway. Let's agree to that point. Second, any sports, anywhere, whether you win or you lose, you shake hands. Is it something to do with commercialism?
This does not happen in sports anymore.
Nobody hands.
Nobody shakes hands. There is sledging. There is sledging, open sledging going on in the game.
Let's shake hands after this. You spoke about wrestling. I can't understand the wrestling because we are seeing 2 or 3 or 4 people playing wrestling without their underpants. Why do they need a belt when they don't have pants?
Negative team, 3 minutes. Make sure you're projecting. Don, can you hear him or do you want a mic?
Very soft. You can use the mic.
Okay, so let's give him the mic.
I'm not aware whether our worthy opponents are sports persons or not, because I can see a fantastic teamwork within themselves in probably trying to convince us or misleading us in a manner that sports has nothing to do with commercialism. Probably it has a little affected on me as well, whether it is right or not, but not much. But I'm sure not the wise judge or the wise moderator for sure. Let me explain the whole relationship between commercialism and sportsmanship. Without commercialism, sports is nothing, obviously. When we, as a person, if I have to see a sports event or go to the Olympics, say for South Africa, in fact I want to go there. How could I go there? Let me explain the whole relationship between commercialism and sportsmanship. For instance, take if I want to go there, I'm a very poor person. I don't have money to go there and watch. I've been enjoying all this in the house as well as in the office also. How could I do that if we are talking about no commercialism?
Even in South Africa, not going there, I learned some songs about things. We learned all this. How do we do or know about this all these things? Songs and all. You won't believe how commercialism could help the sportsmanship. Without that, how could you possibly think about increasing sportsmanship? I am a person who was a good player in table tennis. I can talk about myself. How would I show to the people that I can play or become a champion if the people don't give me the proper table, proper rules, or go into a championship or enter into an Olympics? Somebody has to sponsor me. If nobody is sponsoring me, I'll be sitting at my house with my talents. We are talking about, in 2006 alone, US dollar $2.9 billion was spent on F1 by 11 teams, and it takes about 1.6 million to get a single yard on the Grand Race. Can we talk about this for a decade, in a pocket where we want to go for yachting? Who is doing this sponsorship? And this sponsorship, where is this money going? To a part of it is going to the sportsman. And do you think a sportsman who is getting money go and work in a company as a sales manager or sales executive? He will completely devote his time for trying to motivate his sports and trying to show his skills to the people. If nobody is sponsoring him, how can he enjoy sports in a manner that he enjoys?
2 minutes.
My worthy opponent, Thomas. First of all, thank you so much for acknowledging teamwork. Teamwork is the key to success, right? We did work as a team. Thank you very much. What do you mean that sportsmanship, that sports and sponsorship has nothing to do together? That's our proposition. How can you say it's nothing? You killed our proposition? Because you said sports and sportsmanship are not related. Prince was talking about its correlation, no proof, and you are saying that there is no correlation.
It is correlated. Without sponsorship, and probably around this may even get the money. See, without sponsorship, how could we improve sports? It's just nonsense.
We can improve sports. How come I am no sponsor, okay? And I won so many prizes in Kuwait without a sponsor. How is it possible?
Sit at home.
I shouldn't have won?
You're sitting at
Because
home.
you said you had a sponsor, your ping pong or something, and
No,
whatever. I could not hear. Without that, you would not win. I won, and my friends won so many medals. My house is full of medals. How come? Can you explain to me?
Well,
No sponsorship.
well, we are talking about a person here. We are talking about the whole group. Without this.
Because you brought up your personal stories, which are out of the window. It's not relevant. We need statistics, we need mass data. Then you said that money is going to sportsmen.
That's right.
What percentage of this deal goes to the sportsman? Then we have the clubs are floated on the stock market. Shareholders, directors, coaches. What fraction goes to the sportsman actually from the sponsoring money? What fraction goes there?
From where did you get all this fraction, first of all?
From my research.
30%.
I
It's
still
there in the
continue
UN.
researching.
It is all shown in the UN report. That is it.
All right, now our final summary speeches.
Just 1 minute. 1 second. Too many points to make.
And it starts in 2 seconds. 3, 2, 1, begin.
Okay. So our worthy opponents have raised a number of issues and points which have not been substantiated by stats at all and can be debunked by our team so easily. First of all, Prince started defining sponsorship one more time when he was confronted by Nasima, he started defining profit. So there was a conflict. Then he said he would show exact correlation between these two issues, and he never did. I was really disappointed. Then he agreed with our point about the development of business. Prince defined in his cross-examination profit rather than whatever we were talking about. Then they were relating, promoting a healthy lifestyle through McDonald's and Coke as living a healthy lifestyle. There's a huge gap. Claiming that FIFA is an authority we should be looking up to, it's a joke. Think about IOC. IOC has been plagued by scandals. They belong in jail. Do you think that FIFA is a more worthy association? I don't think so. Then, to come to our points, to recap our points, we have shown that commercialism is a bad word. Commercialism has thrown good sportsmanship out of the window. Our own points. Big clubs are promoting high-profile sports, and they are the ones to be lavishly sponsored by companies selling sugary carbonated drinks and indestructible Big Macs. The chosen elite athletes must always be the cheerful winners. Losing is not an option. No mercy. At the same time, traditional, low-profile sports are neglected. Grassroots supporters, as we have shown, fans, are more often than not even able to pay the exorbitant cost of the tickets. In case of a stadium disaster, the grassroots supporters get very little or no financial aid. Exemplary one-way royalty. To wrap up, a friendly note from your sponsor. Do you want to be a cheerful loser? Go ahead, but not on my watch. You have to win at all costs, sportsmanship or not. You have to win. And that's why, because read my lips, money is money.
Our final speaker for the night, Prince George, with 3 minutes to summarize.
Good evening, everyone. I must congratulate my opponents for doing a fantastic job of misleading all of you. Basically, they have still not correlated commercialism with sportsmanship. Commercialism is bad, commercialism is this happens and that. What is sportsmanship got to do with that? You have to show why sportsmanship, how that is affected by commercialism. Talking about some of the points that were raised by them, one of them spoke about the English Premier League and how clubs are closing down and everything. Why didn't they talk about the hefty salaries earned by these sportspersons, which is encouraging more sportspersons to come into the field and play? The more people that come and play this sport, the more the sportsmanship that increases in this world. One of my opponents also spoke about wrestling matches being rigged. Well, what is the worthiness of that data? Are you also talking about wrestling matches that happen in the Olympics? He's only looking at WWF, which is a private event, probably rigged, no proof whatsoever, hence successfully misleading the crowd sitting over there. One of my opponents also spoke about winning a lot of medals and keeping them all at home and everything. Winning medals and sportsmanship. What is the relationship? It has no relationship. You win medals does not mean that you are sportsman enough. You have that sportsmanship within you. This is what I am trying to explain to everyone here, that the misleading has been done out of proportions in this discussion. My teammates spoke about sports bodies. Well, these sports bodies, the FIFA and all these sports bodies that run these events globally, how do you think they run these events? It is only companies like the ones that were shown on the piece of paper that sponsor them. They pump the money inside. That's how these events are held. That's how we sit, well, as one of my teammates mentioned, that's how we sit here in Kuwait and watch the matches going on in South Africa. Isn't that how money is helping the game? Why are we ignoring that part of it? And why are we still misleading the public on how that money is affecting negatively? One of my opponents spoke about all these people who have come down in sports, like Hansi Cronje, Ben Johnson, Lance Armstrong, Mike Tyson, Tiger Woods. Well, all of them have done their fault. They have their faults. They have done wrong things. Okay, some of them have cheated on their wives. Some have bitten off a ear of their opponent. Some have had drugs, consumed drugs, and all these things. Yes, they exhibited non-sportsmanship. I agree. Yes, they showed disrespect towards the community, towards the game, towards sport. But these are all personality traits of an individual and should not be mixed with how commercialism affects sportsmanship.